My top five cowls and helmets. Let's go. Hello, YouTube. Axioman here once again. And in this video, I'm covering my top five cowls and helmets. I was very specific to refer to a cowl and a helmet, not a mask. So it's not like a Spider-Man mask. So it's a cowl that covers partial your face, then your head, or a full-on helmet. Right? So that's the very specific part of this. And things can be argued about what's a helmet, what's a cowl, but I think we can all agree in the realm of comic book superheroes, supervillains, we all can tell what a cowl and a helmet. If you disagree with any of my picks today, drop me a comment in the comment section below and let me know. And the reason that I picked both cowls and helmets is because I didn't think that there was enough to carry one item or the other. And once I didn't even think there was going to be enough to cover helmets and cowls in the realm. Boy, was I wrong. Of course I was wrong. There's so many, and I left off so many off this list. I had to narrow it down to the top five, my favorite top five. But let's go ahead and get into it, and then we'll see if you guys agree, which ones you do, which ones you don't. Again, comment section, let's get into it. Number five on my list is Magneto's helmet, the master of magnetism. Magneto, Eric Lensher, when he puts that helmet on, he can block all telepathy. Therefore, no telepaths can actually affect him, his mind, put a stop to him. And that thing just looks so cool. In other videos, I've shown that I actually have my own Marvel Legends replica Magneto helmet. I've talked about it in some other videos just about Magneto being one of my favorite villains. And that red and that purple lining with the horn thing in it's just so cool. And he's one of my top just not just X-Men characters, but just Marvel characters in general. So of course I had to go with my boy Magneto. Let's go on to number four. Number four on the list is Red Hood. And I'm not talking about Joker Red Hood when he dons that kind of, in my opinion, goofy, tall, kind of dome Red Hood. I'm talking about Jason Todd, the second Robin himself, Red Hood, that helmet that he wears over with the cowl, he's got that scowl on it, and just his overall look. I mean, come on. So I got to give it to my boy Red Hood. He's awesome. Easily one of my favorite DC villains, Batman villains, anti-hero at times, a la the Punisher. Pick up some Red Hood comics and find out for yourself whether he's a villain, anti-hero, etc. But I got to give it to Red Hood. One of my favorite looking helmets, even though it's just one color, it's just so badass. Let's go on to number three. Number three is none other than Logan, the Wolverine. Now, in some of my lists, I've gotten in the comment section that I've dissed our boy. I've dissed the Canadian Berserker Wolverine. Well, not in this list. And trust me, there's so many other ones I wanted to put on this list, but I could not in this list once again pass up or pass by Wolverine, that iconic cowl that just adds inches. There's something to be said about that. When he was first introduced into the X-Men, it's said that he is one of the shortest characters in the Marvel universe, let alone the X-Men, but just in the Marvel universe in general. And he's got that short man syndrome thing going on, right? The Napoleonic syndrome, I believe it's called. If I'm not mistaken, the short man thing. I don't know. I could be wrong. But we do know that he is very short. And by adding that cowl to his costume, he does add quite a few inches to his, overall stature and overall look. So a lot, it's argued that that's the reason that he has such a high cowl that he wears. Nonetheless, no matter what the reason, it's one of the most iconic looking cowls in all of comics. I had to give number three to Wolverine. Let's go on to the next one. Number two. Oh, the top two. Top one was easier top. Number two was a lot more difficult because I wanted to place so many in this slot. But I went ahead and went with Captain America. That Captain America cowl with the wings. I know in the MCU he has them painted. In comics, he's got those little wing things going on. And with that big A that he's got right on the cowl, iconic. I would say and argue as iconic as Wolverine's. Let me know. I truly do think so because of the A. His comic book goes all the way back to the golden age of comics, back in the 1940s when comics were first introduced to the American public, and you see him in that iconic cover punching Hitler. So of course, you have to give it to Captain America, at least to a certain extent, for its historic element. But he is one of my favorites. I've mentioned this in other videos as well because of his enlistment into the Army. I'm a U.S. Army vet, so I'm always going to have a bias for Cap, and that's why he's my number 2. It's gone to number 1, which is probably obvious to a lot of people. Number 1 is The Dark Knight. Batman, aka Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne? Well, I guess he does win. Bruce Wayne for the win. How can you not go with Batman? The iconic Batman cowl. I keep saying iconic because how can I not, right, ladies and gents? I mean, these are quintessential looking, the color scheme, the dynamic of whether it's a helmet or a cowl. In this case, it is a cowl. The ultimate cowl, in my opinion, is the Batman. So many iterations, tall horns, short horns, just there's so many, so many artists, so many sketches, so many movies and TV, from Adam West to Christian Bale to Ben Affleck. I mean, the list goes on. There's been so many iterations of the Batman cowl. Take your pick. One day I'll make my top Batman cowls, top 5 Batman cowls. But for now, it's just in general cowls and helmets. Batman, you take number 1. Of course you do. That's it for this video. As always, collect what you love what you collect. I'll see you guys in the next one. I almost forgot some honorable mentions. This time I will give some honorable mentions. Did not want to count Iron Man because Iron Man has a whole suit. So even though he does wear the helmet, it's just, I don't know, I didn't feel right counting Iron Man as an honorable mention because he has the whole thing going on. But here are my 2 very honorable mentions. One is Daredevil, of course, not just because the show is currently on, the new Daredevil Born Again series, but because, come on. And secondly is Hawkman. Hawkman, I think, way better in my opinion than Thor, even though they have a similar design with the big wings. But it's just that with Hawkman, he has the actual cowl cover, and Thor is more of a helmet. But I did say helmets and cowls, but if you put the 2 next to each other, I'm always going to go with Hawkman. Those are my 2 honorable mentions, Daredevil and Hawkman. That's it for this video. Roll the music.